Genius, by dictionary definition, is an extraordinary ability in something. And deep genius kind of shows us the building blocks of what creates that extraordinary ability. So deep genius, in my opinion, has three components. Number one, it's those innate strengths that you hold, things that come easily and effortlessly to you. But they also has to do with your learned skills, things that you've acquired through education and through training that mesh perfectly with those innate strengths that you have. And lastly, and importantly, are life-defining experiences, major life events that wake strengths up in us that we didn't even know existed before, and show us that we have more strength than we even realize. And putting those two together, it really shows the depth of what our genius is. A life-defining moment can be something joyful, something painful. It could be the birth of a child when you realize, oh my gosh, I never realized I had what it took to be a parent. It could be an illness in yourself or in someone that you love when you realize, I never knew I had the resilience to get through this. It can be great joy from finishing a marathon, or the resilience that you create in yourself by moving a million times, whether through life circumstances or what. So just all these different things that we go through that show us that we have a lot going for us. I love working with, well, actually two groups of people. Number one, I love working with entrepreneurs, executives, senior managers, people who are established in what they do, they're great at what they do, and the work that we do together really hones them as leaders. It sharpens those leadership skills, it helps them understand themselves better, and it helps them understand other people better. But I also love working with young professionals, the emerging leaders, the up-and-coming, millennials, whoever's coming into the world, because there's this freshness and an excitement and a curiosity, not just learning about themselves, but to learn what makes other people tick and to look beyond the obvious to find answers, to find treasure, to find the genius in others around them. The path that I've taken to get to where I am is pretty unique. Some of it is through formal education, a lot of it is from life experience, and some of it is from my own innate skills. I was raised in a family business. My dad had a flea market. I started working there when I was 14 years old, and it was probably a once-in-a-lifetime experience of getting to know mankind firsthand. I really got to know people, different kinds of people who were in the world, different, all stripes and flavors of humanity. My first career was as a teacher. And I worked with kids who were falling through the cracks. And it was my job to find what was going to keep them in school, what was going to keep them going. And so I learned a lot about not only what makes people tick, but learning styles and multiple intelligences. I got a master's degree in multicultural education because I wanted to develop curriculum that spoke to all of the students that were out on the margins that the regular curriculum wasn't speaking to. And then when I started my business, it just felt like I mushed all of that together and am able to take that into companies now. And I've been doing this for 14 years, helping people see the genius in themselves, the genius all around them, and to use that to build leadership skills. Helps with marketing, it helps with creativity, productivity, it helps on all levels. There are so many people in our workplaces who are slipping through the cracks basically because they're being unnoticed for what they bring to the table, their value, their contribution. They might just show up one way on an assessment or one way on a performance review, but there are these nuances in each person, and if we don't take the time and the effort to look, we're going to pass over so much talent that's out there. So many people who could be offering solutions, so many people who could be offering innovation. And don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-performance review, I'm not anti-assessment. I think there's a lot of value in those. They give broad strokes and they save a lot of time. What I'm saying is that there are little nuances. Let's say that the performance reviews, the evaluations, the assessments, those are the big rocks. What are the little rocks? What's the sand? What are the other things that are going to fill that up? It's like picking up the couch cushions and finding change under them. There's so much more. When you ask people the same question over and over again, and you use that to base your data, it can give you accurate results for one thing that you're looking for. But there are so many other things that we can be looking for, and you have to take a qualitative approach. You look at people, you ask them, you hear their true story. If I could give one word of advice to C-level executives, senior managers, heads of companies, it would be to really take the time to look at who people are. I learned this phrase, jargon monoxide poisoning. We get so stuck in this company jargon and company speak and titles. It becomes very cryptic, and you stop seeing the world creatively after that. You get really stuck in a box, and you fail to look at what people are bringing to the table, and you fail to see your own growth edge. So I would encourage people who are on the higher levels in an organization to take the time and to have the courage to look at themselves, to look within, but to train themselves also to look at others. If I could give a word of advice to young professionals, stay curious. Stay curious about yourself, stay curious about the people around you. Don't get boxed in. You are the generation that is different than every generation that came before you. You're the generation that wants things tailor-made to you. Don't let that be a criticism of you. Embrace that, because what that's making you do is to go out and find new and different ways to do things. You're not accepting the same old, same old. You're the innovators. You're the pioneers. And this is an area in our workplaces that we really need to push to a leading edge to find out more about who's really in our workplaces with us. What's the wealth of talent that's all around us? What's that deep genius that's pervasive all around? You are the people who are uniquely qualified to help uncover that.